Now for the original post. Have you ever seen I Love a Mama's Boy? Well, that's my life, basically. I have been with my fiancé, John, since high school. We dated and broke up because his mother, Debbie, convinced him we were too young to be in love. We broke up and went to college. During my sophomore year, we started talking on socials again. He apologized and said he missed me. We got back together. Cue the waterworks. Debbie literally cried the first time she saw we were back together and told John that I have done witchcraft on him. I've always respected Debbie out of respect for my mother and upbringing. I was not raised to go back and forth with my elders, but she definitely abuses that. Since John and I decided to get back together, she has tried to hook him up with women from her church, her job, and even asks her friends for their daughters to give it a shot. John denies all of them, and Debbie says that I'm controlling. John has told her to stop, but not in a way I feel she gets the point. Anyway, 3 months ago, John proposed. Deb didn't come to the engagement party. Cool. She didn't come to the family dinner we had, so both sides could meet. Cool. John's dad came and apologized for his ex's behavior. He left her when John graduated high school. I told him don't worry about it. The problems really began when John decided to confront his mother about how she's behaving toward our whole engagement. This turned on the light bulb in his brain, as he's always tried to ignore it and tell me to ignore her. She gave him a sob story about how she got pregnant with him before marriage and never really got to have a wedding, and this is triggering her. She had a shotgun wedding at the courthouse. He asked her what she needed to feel comfortable, and she responded that if she wore white and I wore a soft pink or lavender, she would feel comfortable. My fiancé, for some reason, thought this was a fair compromise. He also said, not asked, that his mom could walk me down the aisle so she can get her moment in her dress. I told him absolutely not, and we got into an argument about it. I told him that it's insane that he would argue with me to defend his mom's honor, but wouldn't do the same the other way around. He accused me of being petty and selfish. It was bad. We both have agreed to cool off, but by how heated it got, I could tell we both almost agreed to call it off. Now we're in a weird space, and I love John, but now see how much he lets her impact our life. I just imagine her sitting at home with this evil grin, knowing she's ruining my relationship with John, and he's just putty in her hands. I think I should just call off the wedding. Am I overreacting, or is it just a color? Now for some top comments. One commenter said, "This isn't about a dress color, it's about control and possibly a dash of humiliation. Do you really want to put down roots, start a family, with a man willing to bend backward for his mommy to the point of telling his bride she can't wear white, but his mom gets the glory? I shudder to think what having kids with this man would look like." Another added, "He can marry his mother in her white dress then. What an absolutely unhinged request. Any self-respecting man would be appalled to even bring this to his intended bride." Another commenter asked, "You're not overreacting, but do you want a husband who will prioritize his mother's feelings over yours? Because this will not change after you get married. This is him showing you his priorities." Now for the update. Hey everyone, not sure if this is the update everyone wanted, but this is what happened since my last post. I laid out a couple of talking points that I couldn't articulate over the rage. I met up with John after work at home. I was at the gym letting off steam. We spoke on everything and made plans to speak to his mother. John came home remorseful. He told me he was anxious about it and brought it up to a coworker friend about how I don't want to compromise. Apparently, his friend, God bless his soul, went off on him about him being cringy. This angered me. So when I say it, it's a problem, but another man tells you, and now you see the other side, I brought up my talking points, him being easily manipulated. This was also proved when I said he would listen to whatever another man said before his partner. Even though his friend agreed with me, it hurt that he didn't listen to me. His mom going out of her way to break us up with this silly request. He was way more open to this theory now, knowing how cringe he looks even telling this situation to someone else. I compared it to a father removing a bride's wedding garter. He got the point. Him agreeing to his mom's crazy request before even talking to me. He claimed he didn't that he told her he'll see how I feel about it and just brought it up to me. I asked why did he not see that his mother walking down the aisle on his wedding day was extremely creepy. He said it's just a dress in his eyes. He just didn't want his mom to miss the wedding. I told him there will be no wedding if he doesn't straighten up. He said he understood. Me showing him how blatantly obvious it was, she hates me. She didn't even ask to wear white alongside me, which is still weird, but that I don't wear white at all as if I'm some impure intimacy worker. Thanks Reddit, because I wasn't even thinking of that one. He said he didn't see it that way. He just knew she hasn't been showing up because she said seeing me in white hurts her. So I said, do you not hear your own mom saying she wants to be the bride herself? That she can't stand it being me? It finally looked like a ding went off in his head. Me asking him what role would she play in our wedding, childbirth, Mother's Day, and everything to come? Would I always come second place? He assured me I wouldn't, and he realizes how bad he messed up. He was just trying to keep the peace. I asked by always making her happy and making me miserable. I refused to live my life this way. He agreed and said he was sorry and that he wouldn't want me to be miserable. We have no children yet, but we created a plan and how to deal with any big milestone. She won't be there for anything unless I'm comfortable with it, and I won't be unless she does a 180. I asked what did his mom say to change his mind, and you all guessed it, she cried. She cried about how her baby was getting taken away from her, how she never got her wedding, how his dad left her and she was alone and had no one else, that she felt sick and just wanted to experience a real wedding before she dies. She is perfectly healthy unless there's something she hasn't told us. I just told him if that was enough to manipulate him, what's to say he won't turn on me again? He said his friend and dad talked sense into him about how he was going to lose me. I told him today was the last straw for me. He had to do 4 things to keep me engaged to him if he even cared to. Go low contact with his mom and do not let her make any decisions on our wedding, which will be postponed another year to see if he actually sticks to his word. He has to go to counseling, individually and couples counseling. He has to speak to his mom, with me present, about her behavior toward me, because every time he goes by himself, he comes back with a reason why he left it alone. He must create strong boundaries and learn to uphold them. He agreed. I showed him the post. I felt so bad as he read everyone rip him to shreds in the comments. I could see how uncomfortable he was as he read how much of a mama's boy he was and other things about his mom. He was hurt that I agreed that I should leave in some comments. He read for a few minutes until he saw someone call him a spineless "see you next Tuesday," and then gave my phone back. He said it was really harsh, but I had to show him how crazy the situation sounded, even if it was just to keep the peace on a surface level. Him reading the post was icing on the cake. He said he saw everyone telling me to leave, and his heart physically started hurting, knowing that he deserved it. We called his dad, Dan, who I'll name since he's a big part of this update. Dan also read John the Riot Act again. He was relieved John decided to get his act together. We agreed to go to Deb's house tomorrow with Dan and John's aunt. My dad is tagging along. John has said he will tell his mother that she can't, under any circumstances, make our wedding about her. He also said if she does cry or try to guilt trip him, he will tell her he's going no contact. I feel terrible as getting a man to stop talking to his mother isn't something I ever thought I even wanted. I doubt Debbie will come around, especially not tomorrow with all of us against her. I don't know if John will backtrack as soon as he gets there. I have explained if he doesn't grow a spine, I'm leaving. He either can marry me or marry his mom, but that's my ultimatum. He said he chooses me. We'll see, I guess. This all should make me happy, but I still feel icky. I'll update tomorrow after we all talk to Debbie. Now for the final update. Hey everyone, I'm back with the last update. Some people reached out to disrespect me. I honestly don't care if you don't believe my story or find me annoying, but messaging me, calling me names, being disrespectful, and or saying I shouldn't wear white to my own wedding is classless. I won't respond, and I genuinely hope you all get the help you need for whatever trauma makes you that much of an angry person. To all the people who have reached out with positive vibes and advice, thank you so much, you cutie patooties. Anyway, John and I met up after work and we headed to pick up Dan. John's aunt couldn't make it. My dad was meeting us there. I had really bad anxiety. I told Dan and Dad they should give us a few before knocking so she doesn't feel ambushed. They agreed. Here's the part everyone was waiting for. We get to Debbie's. My heart feels like I'm going up the world's tallest roller coaster slowly. John is quiet. We get there and he gives her a firm but respectful, "Hey, Mom." We sit down and John tells her we came to talk to her. She asked, "What's wrong?" John got right into it. He bluntly said to her that her actions toward me for years have been petty. Her not showing up for any of our wedding events was unacceptable to him. He flat out asked her, why does she have a problem with me? I genuinely thought he was going to start with the dress situation. He went for the root of it all. Debbie acted like she had no idea what he was talking about. She has actively tried to get him to cheat, leave me for other women, but in that moment was shocked and doesn't know where this was coming from. She said she has no problems with me and loves me like a daughter. She looked at me like she expected me to talk, but, like I said to you all, I wanted to see what John had to say. He asked her to be honest and named all the times he's recalled that she insulted me to my face and behind my back. He mentioned she also tells him he could do better every time I'm not around. This was news to me, but am I shocked? No. Deb was livid. She genuinely couldn't believe he outed her like that. She starts going off on him, calling him disrespectful and saying he was disrespecting his own mother for an outsider. She kept saying, "I know she made you do this. I know she's the one making you disrespect me like this." John was trying to reason with her and get her to calm down. I text Dan and my dad to come in. Once they were inside, Deb became a different person. She was startled as she wasn't expecting them, and then all of the things she was just saying went out of the window. She turned to Dan and my dad and said, "John walked in and just started yelling at her because of me." My dad looked at me and I shook my head no. Once Dan and Dad got in, everything was calmer for a little while. She went back to denying she didn't like me. They all told her that it was obvious, that the dress request was shameful of her. She immediately replied, "It's shameful that I won't let her son spend time with her." John said that's not true. At this point, I'm burning inside. I wanted to correct all of her inaccuracies, but I stood quiet. John asked her, "What's the real issue with me?" Deb starts saying how she knew I was going to be an issue since we were in high school. She said that once John got with me, his grades started dropping, which isn't true, that he stopped making time for family. Also, not true, that he once didn't show up to celebrate Mother's Day with her a few times because of my birthday. My birthday is in April, Mother's Day is in May. That once we got back together, he forgot about her completely because I made him abandon her. He goes to her house minimum 3x a week. She said the fact that we had the engagement party without checking how she felt about it was wrong, and all the evidence she needed to see what kind of woman I am. My dad pointed out that she didn't pay for the engagement dinner to have any input on it. Dan asked her, what was she thinking, asking to wear white at our wedding? Why is she so hungry for attention? Her face got red, and she went off. She told Dan maybe if he would have properly married her and gave her a real wedding, she wouldn't feel left out. Dan straight up called nonsense and said that she didn't want to have a real wedding, even though he tried to convince her, the reason being that her mother told her pregnant brides are tacky. She started crying. I honestly felt bad for Debbie here. Mothers, be nice to your daughters, or you'll create Debbies. My dad got everyone to calm down. John finally spoke again and told his mom that he can't keep defending her when she won't even try to respect me. That, for his sanity and our relationship, he's going LC. Deb kept crying and said that John can't leave her for dead. She's the only mother he'll ever have. Mothers are forever. Wives are not. I'm not even his wife yet, and I'm already tearing apart the family. He kept going. He told her that we are going to get married. She can't respect me or stop crossing boundaries. She'll get cut off completely. That his visits are dropping down to 1 every 2 weeks and that she needs to call less. She started going off. She knew it. I'm doing something to him. What did I do to her son? I'm a manipulator and a problem. She told my dad he raised a demon. My dad shot back at her to watch her mouth. John kept shouting, "Mom, stop! Mom, stop!" But she kept screaming, and then she started hyperventilating. She was gripping John's arm, saying she can't breathe. This was when I said to myself, oh no, he's about to flip-flop. He looked at me, and I know he knew what I was thinking. John got her a cup of water, then asked his dad if he could make sure his mom was okay, and asked my dad to take Dan home. Dan and Dad agreed, and his mom started crying louder. She literally screamed, "I can't breathe," as we walked out so he could hear her. I felt terrible and finally spoke. I told John I'm sorry, and I understand if he felt bad. He said he knew she was faking it, but his instincts wanted to run over and make sure she was okay. I asked, "Are you?" He said no, but he looked really sad about it. My dad walked out behind us. My dad has never seen this side of Deb. Neither have I. She's always been catty or shady toward me, but this was insane. And my dad straight up told John that his mom needed help with her mental health. John said he's going to talk to his aunt about getting her help. We went home, and John cried. He said he cried because he watched his mom villainize him and tell others that he just walked in and verbally abused her. He said it reminded him of the times he would fight with his dad because his mom would say Dan would just come from work and yell at her for no reason. I guess it was déjà vu for him. He was silent after she said that, so I do believe it struck a nerve with him. He decided to go no contact for now. Before we went to Deb's house, I called a couple of counselors in our area to check availability, and our first couples therapy session is next month. It's a little while away. He called his provider today to check for a therapist within his insurance and got an appointment for himself for the 23rd. The ball is rolling, and John seems like he's on the same page as me. I know this is ending the life of him, though. Dan called us and let us know he got Deb to calm down. He said he spoke to her as best as he could about her harming her own relationship with John, but she didn't want to hear it. Thank you, Reddit. I really didn't expect this to blow up like this. The advice and well wishes I got from this was so overwhelming in a great way. While I should be happy, something about it all just makes me feel down. I hope that Debbie gets better and we can one day have her in our lives. Something about that comment about her mother made me hurt for little Debbie. Hopefully one day I'll get to hear her stories. Now I'm going back to my regular life, and hopefully I won't ever have a dramatic update for you guys ever again. Am I the idiot for canceling my birthday dinner after my so-called friends ghosted me? I made a WhatsApp group and invited 15 of my closest friends to my birthday party. I planned a nice themed dinner at a nice restaurant with one live music act, a nice cake ordered from a bakery, and fitting the theme and decorations. I wrote a heartfelt text, how I want to celebrate getting older with my oldest and greatest friends, and I detailed everything that was planned for the evening in the invitation. And then, nothing. Nobody replied, nobody said a word, like thanks for the invite or looking forward or anything at all. After a few hours, my boyfriend posted a party meme in the WhatsApp group and wrote how excited he was to get it started. Still nothing. After almost 2 days, I posted a GIF of chirping grills and made a funny comment, still thinking maybe people simply forgot to reply. After another day, I started texting people individually if they would like to come or if they are available that evening, and a few responded that they will let me know soon. Others didn't respond at all. After almost a week, not a single one of my friends posted into the group or have messaged me if they would like to come to my birthday party. After 0 invitation acceptances, and after reaching out several times, I felt so ashamed, like I was begging the people to want to celebrate me or to come. I started to cry and I felt so depressed, ashamed and humiliated, I just deleted the WhatsApp group. Nobody has asked me about that either. My birthday is now just a week away. I called the restaurant and canceled. I called the bakery and canceled my order, and I returned the decorations I bought. Maybe I was the stupid one for organizing all those things beforehand, but I was just so sure that at least a handful of people would like to come show up. I am just so sad. I have known most of my friends for at least 15 years. I was their bridesmaid. their child's godparent, their maid of honor. I was there at graduation ceremonies and birthday celebrations, and I am truly puzzled. Is it really such a burden to come to my dinner? A dinner which I would have paid in full and which I tried to make it into a beautiful evening event for everyone. I am just so sad and ashamed that I wasn't even worth a reply message. My boyfriend is trying to cheer me up, and he immediately got busy organizing a surprise birthday evening for me. He is wonderful, and I am just so glad he and my parents care so much about me. Otherwise, I would just feel absolutely worthless. Now for a comment from one user. Who are these people? I can assure you it is extremely rare to have 15 close friends. I replied, mostly people I went to school or kindergarten with. They are as many as 15, because I invited my friend and additionally their partner, so 6 invitees were actually additional partners. Now, for the same day update, I have read every single comment. The comments ranged from compassionate to giving advice or constructive criticism. All in all, reading all of them felt so incredibly uplifting and cathartic. Thank you all. I will continue reading and answering as much as I can and give you any updates. To the people believing I will get a surprise party, I really, really won't. I think honestly, every one of my friends is in their own bubble and has their own stuff going on and just wasn't feeling it right now, which was definitely hurtful and rude, but at least it didn't feel malicious. About my friends, they are not bad people at all, but they are probably victim to a world where commitment in general is a rare thing to find, where rules and manners are slowly forgotten, and where being constantly busy is a good enough excuse for anything. I found it rude, but I will not confront them, but rather distance myself. They are my friends, because in times of crisis they were there for me and we share many good memories. However, as many pointed out, you do grow apart, and this behavior might be a result of that. I talked to my boyfriend a lot and showed him some of the responses, and he was very reassuring. He told me the fact that I cared so much, that I always try to do things with love and care. That is one of the things he appreciates and loves most about me, and he never wants me to give that up. I also reflected on me and my character, and I will try and do better myself, as I also sometimes forgot to reply to a text or canceled a lunch last minute. I will try to put the behavior out there that I would like to receive. I ordered myself a birthday calendar, an address book, and a couple of birthday cards. And I will note every birthday of a friend or acquaintance that I make and send them a birthday card. Too many of the comments talked about the hurt they felt when people forgot their birthday and didn't show up, and I find the idea to try to do things differently soothing. Thanks also for the many birthday wishes. They made me so happy. Now for a downvoted comment from another user. Hard disagree with the majority here. You are 27. That's well beyond being a child and well beyond expecting anyone to care about your birthday. Like, did you attend 15 birthday parties each year for all of these people? You probably did not, or at least you can sympathize with people who are like, hey, we're in our 20s now, we've all got jobs and chores to do. Can't we just simply hang out? The older you get, the more you need to stop thinking only about yourself. What do other people want to do that you like doing? Maybe next time, arrange something that people would mutually like to do, rather than a vanity celebration for something you should have grown out of 20 years earlier. I responded, this comment is quite unfriendly, but I still appreciate that you took the time to comment. Now for the next day update. I followed the advice of basically everyone and asked a few of them what happened and why I wasn't even granted a reply or reaction, especially when I kindly asked all of them to RSVP until a certain date. To all the optimistic people, I have to disappoint you. There wasn't a surprise party planned. Also, all of them use WhatsApp regularly, and all of them saw the invites. Now for their responses, explanations. 4 of them had possible alternative plans and couldn't decide if they wanted to go to my party or to commit to the other plans, so they just didn't want to say anything until they decided on something. 2 girlfriends didn't have confirmation if their partner could attend or not, so again, they just didn't say anything because they didn't know yet. 1 said she wasn't feeling too well lately and wanted to decide spontaneously to come One had a valid excuse since she tried to find childcare for her 6-month-old child all week long. She is the only one with a child, and she actually found childcare, so we will do something with her and her husband. I told all of them how it made me feel, that it was rude, and that it made me cry and feel unwanted. I also told them that it is their loss because if they don't appreciate me organizing nice events and evenings, there simply won't be any for them to attend in the future. They all admitted that their behavior was rude and unfriendly and were apologetic and told me they are sorry. One friend said he really messed up, and after he saw I deleted the group, he felt pretty bad and wanted to approach me anyways. It is not ideal, but it is something. I will not cut them out as suggested by many. I talked to them, I expressed my hurt, and I will give them the opportunity to learn from their mistakes and to grow. They are flaky in a society that accepts flaky and non-committal behavior. They are human and faulty, and I am also not a perfect human who behaves ideally all the time. I know that this answer may disappoint some. I will, however, make room in my life for people who are more reliable and who would be appreciative and enthusiastic about theme parties and will not rely too much on my current friends. All your messages were so uplifting and nice, and I honestly feel a lot better now. I am starting to look forward to my birthday again. I feel incredibly optimistic that I will find like-minded people and friends in the future, and I won't give up. I will throw nice parties and dinners again, and I just have hope in my heart that my friends will have changed a bit, and I will also have made new great friends by then. Thanks a lot again to everyone telling me about their bad experiences, their birthday parties where nobody attended, and the moments they felt lonely. I feel so sad for you and with you, and wish for every single one of you to find people who love and appreciate you. You all help me to feel less ashamed and less alone. Am I the idiot for falling in love with my best friend and making things awkward? I have been hooking up with one of my close friends for about 2 months. We've been friends since we were 12, so telling each other, "I love you," isn't strange for us and something we've done countless times before. However, this was the first time it's happened during intimacy, and I don't know what that means. Last night, we were having intimacy in the missionary position. It had been a really intimate and sweet night. Lots of kissing and foreplay. Very gentle movements. You get the idea. When he was getting close, he told me he loved me. His head was buried in my neck, but I could still hear him clearly. I wasn't uncomfortable or anything, let me be clear. I thought it was really sweet, and I said it back. He then moved his head to look at me, and he smiled, then kissed me and finished. I had already finished before him. Then, while we were cuddling afterward, he brought it up and seemed a bit embarrassed. He apologized and explained it just slipped out in the heat of the moment, but I assured him there was nothing to be sorry for and that I thought it was really sweet. Now, I keep replaying the moment and his reaction to me saying it back in my head, and I'm wondering if there's more to it. He seemed genuinely in awe that I said it back, which doesn't make sense because I've told him I love him multiple times before. And I don't really know why he was embarrassed unless he meant it more than a "I love you as a friend" type of way. Is this something I should talk to him more about? Because I'm not gonna lie, I think I may have caught feelings, so if he feels the same, then I would love to know. I just don't want to make things awkward or embarrass him again. Or myself, lol. Does this mean he has feelings for me, and should I talk to him about it? Now for a comment. Yes, he has feelings for you. Then you said it back. He took it to mean you were reciprocating. If you are not ready for a relationship with him, then you need to speak with him ASAP. Intimacy and feelings can be hard to separate for some people. Actually, most people. Just make sure to let him down easy that you don't want anything more than FWB right now. Now for the update. I was not expecting my post to get much attention, haha. Many people have asked for an update, so I decided to make a separate post for that. But before I give the update, I want to address a couple of things. Before I turn my chats off, some people are very strange. I got a few DMs asking how we got together in the first place. We both grew up in very conservative and sex-negative households. Basically, our only intimacy education was simply don't do it. So intimacy had been a weird topic for both of us for some time. We were in the same homeschool group, and that's how we met and became friends. A few months ago, we ended up talking and decided to give our virginities to each other, which then progressed into a FWB relationship. And so far, we've only ever slept with each other. I also tend to be a very oblivious person when it comes to people having feelings for me. Even when the signs are obvious, blaring in all caps neon letters, I'm still like, I wonder what they mean by that, or not even give it another thought. I know it's bad, and I've been trying to work on it, but sometimes I still miss lol. Okay, now what you've been waiting for. I really sat down with myself and thought hard about how I feel, and I figured out that I do love him. Like, I'm pretty down bad, to be honest, lol. So I texted him and asked if we could meet up and chat, like y'all recommended. We ended up hanging out at his apartment like usual, and just did random things at first. Had some food, watched funny videos on YouTube, stuff like that. Then I asked him if we could talk. I started off by telling him that when I said I love you back last night, I meant it, and I always have. Then I asked him what he meant when he told me he loved me, and that I just want us to be honest with each other. Because I love him, and nothing could change that. I could tell he was a bit nervous, so I held his hand, and that seemed to help. He started talking, and he admitted that he's in love with me. He told me that he had a crush on me when we were younger, but he figured it would go away eventually, and he thought it did. But when we started having intimacy, the feelings came back, or he started noticing them all over again. And last night was really emotional for him, so the words just slipped out without him thinking about it. He told me he got really excited when I said it back, but then he figured I didn't mean it that way. That's why he reacted the way he did. I could tell he was still really nervous now. I told him I meant it and that I'm in love with him too. The look on his face, we were both very happy and relieved. We talked some more and agreed to be official and exclusive. Kissed some, did some other things lol. Some tears may have been shed. It was a very emotional time, haha. So yeah, happy to report a happy ending here. Thanks y'all. Now for a comment. Beautiful. So you had no inkling that he was in love with you? I've read that men in love usually give off certain signs that they're in love. Particular way they gaze, particular actions or words. He was hiding it so well? Then OP replied, "Thank you. Honestly, he probably didn't hide it well. I was just a fool."